The Dyatlov Pass Incident. In the dead of winter 1959, 9 young hikers set out into the Ural Mountains of Russia. They were prepared, they were skilled, they were determined. But within days, every one of them would be dead. Their bodies were discovered scattered across the snow, half-dressed, broken, and mutilated in ways that defy all explanation. Their tent had been slashed open from the inside. Their footprints led away in a single orderly line into the frozen dark. What happened that night remains one of the most disturbing and unsolved mysteries of the 20th century. This is the Dyatlov Pass Incident. The journey begins. The Dyatlov story starts not on the mountain, but in a classroom. The hikers were all students and recent graduates of the Ural Polytechnical Institute. Each of them was already certified as a Grade 2 hiker, and this expedition would earn them the coveted Grade 3, Soviet Russia's highest recognition for backcountry survival. This was not a casual trip. Cigarettes and alcohol were deliberately left behind. Every man and woman knew the dangers of the Ural winter, but under the leadership of 23-year-old Igor Dyatlov, they were confident. The group consisted of 9 when they began. Dyatlov himself, Georgy Krivonishenko, Rustem Slobodin, Nicholas Thibault Brignolel, Zenaida Kolmogorova, Lyudmila Dubinina, Yuri Doroshenko, Alexander Kolovatov, and Semyon Zolotaryov. At the last moment, there was also a 10th, Yuri Yudin. But after only 2 days, Yudin fell ill with joint pain and reluctantly turned back. His illness spared his life. He would never see his companions again. The 9 continued. They laughed, they sang, they photographed everything, leaving behind a record of their final days. On January 31st, heavy snow forced them off course. They pitched camp high on the slope of a mountain, known to the local Mansi people as Kolat Shakal. Its name translates to Dead Mountain. They would never leave it alive. The tent. On February 26th, nearly a month later, searchers discovered the hiker's tent. At first glance, it appeared intact, but closer inspection revealed something horrifying. The canvas had been slashed open from the inside. The hikers had not walked out. They had cut their way out. Even stranger, they had fled without proper clothing. Some wore only underwear, some were barefoot. In temperatures that plummeted to -30 degrees, this was a death sentence. But it wasn't just the lack of clothing. Their footprints were found in the snow, 9 sets, clear and deliberate. They did not run. They walked in single file down the slope toward the forest, calm, controlled, as if following orders. What could possibly have driven 9 experienced mountaineers to tear open their only shelter and walk willingly into the deadly cold? The first bodies. Searchers followed the tracks. At the edge of the forest, beneath a tall cedar tree, they made their first grim discovery. A small fire had been built at the base. 2 bodies lay nearby, Yuri Doroshenko and Georgy Krivonishenko. Both were almost naked. Doroshenko wore only a t-shirt and underwear. His body was covered in scratches and bruises. Blood stained his lips and nose. A strange gray foam oozed from his mouth, evidence of violent internal injury. Krivonishenko fared no better. Burns scarred his feet and hands. His mouth had been torn, his knuckle bitten deeply, as if he had chewed into his own hand in agony or desperation. The cedar tree above them had broken branches more than 15 feet high, suggesting someone had climbed it in a frantic attempt to escape, or to watch for something approaching in the dark. But both men were dead. The official cause, hypothermia. The unofficial evidence, something far more sinister. Dyatlov and Zenaida. Not far from the cedar, searchers found Igor Dyatlov, the leader. He lay on his back, fists clenched, his face bruised and bloodied. His teeth were broken. He appeared to have fought. Against what, no one could say. Nearby was Zinaida Kolmogorova. She was better dressed than most, wearing multiple layers. But she too was beaten. Dark bruises covered her torso, consistent with blunt force trauma. She too had tried to crawl back toward the tent, but collapsed in the snow. Like Dyatlov, her official cause of death was listed as hypothermia, but the injuries told a different story. Rustem Slobodin. A week later, the body of Rustem Slobodin was discovered. His skull was fractured. His brain showed signs of internal bleeding, yet he had no external wounds to explain such trauma. He had somehow walked for nearly an hour with his fatal injury before collapsing face down in the snow. He too was said to have died of hypothermia, but investigators could not explain how his skull had been shattered by an invisible force, with no sign of impact. The ravine. For months, the mountain kept its final secrets. Then in May, searchers found a ravine half a mile from the tent. Inside, buried beneath the snow, lay the final 4 hikers: Lyudmila Dubinina, Semyon Zolotaryov, Alexander Kolevatov, and Nicholas Thibault Brignolel. What they found here was unlike anything seen before. Dubinina's ribs were broken inward, her chest crushed. Her eyes were gone. Her tongue had been ripped from her mouth while she was still alive. Blood in her stomach confirmed it. Zolotaryov, the oldest of the group, suffered the same. A flail chest, multiple broken ribs, eyes missing, a deep skull wound. Kolevatov's neck was snapped, his face mutilated. Thibault Brignolel's skull was caved in, yet his skin bore no mark of the blow. Their injuries resembled those seen in high-speed car crashes, not in mountain hiking accidents. Even more disturbing, their clothing tested positive for radiation. No natural source could explain it. To this day, the origin of the radiation remains unknown. Theories of terror. Theories have swirled for decades. Some believe the hikers disturbed the sacred land of the Mansi tribe and were attacked. But the Mansi had no history of violence, and no evidence supported it. Others blame an avalanche, but there was no debris, and the tent was still standing. The strange injuries could not be explained. Supernatural explanations emerged. A photograph taken by the hikers showed a strange humanoid figure in the snow. Was it a yeti? Locals whispered of glowing orbs in the sky that night. Were they UFOs? Psychological theories suggest panic, mass hysteria, or paradoxical undressing from hypothermia. But 9 people, acting in perfect unison, fleeing barefoot in single file. Unlikely. And then, the most chilling theory of all, a Soviet military cover-up. Some suggest the hikers stumbled upon secret weapons testing, rockets or bombs that blasted them with concussive force. Strange lights in the sky that night were reported by witnesses hundreds of miles away. Did the military kill the hikers? Or did the weapons themselves do the work, leaving the government to hide the truth beneath layers of lies and altered autopsies? The last mystery. In the end, no theory answers everything. Not the radiation, not the missing eyes, not the torn tongues, not the slashed tent and the calm barefoot march into the forest. 9 brilliant young lives were ended on that frozen mountain. Their leader, Igor Dyatlov, the cheerful Krivonyshenko, the strong and determined Zinaida, the quiet, thoughtful Dubinina. Each one, silenced by something that still defies explanation. The Dyatlov Pass incident remains unsolved, and perhaps it always will. But when the wind howls over the Urals, and the snow swallows the mountain peaks, the ghosts of 9 hikers still wander, still searching for answers, still asking the same question. What happened on Dead Mountain? You've just heard the story of the Dyatlov Pass Incident, one of the coldest, darkest mysteries in modern history. If you felt the chill of this story, make sure to subscribe, tap the bell icon, and join me again as we uncover more horrors that the world has tried to bury. Because sometimes, the truth isn't just strange, it's terrifying.